Hello everyone, welcome back to online lecture series on engineering thermodynamics. We are continuing with our topic of exergy, and today we are in the last phase of this chapter. So we will be ending this chapter today. So let's begin. We will do a quick revision of our previous topics. So we began in our last lecture with availability. That availability of a given state is defined as the maximum useful work, that is total work minus PdV work, that is obtainable in a process in which the system comes to equilibrium with its surroundings. So this is the property which depends on system as well as surrounding. Then availability in steady flow process. The maximum work is given by this formula Wmax, and the availability is given by this formula here in case when we are considering a process from a given state to a dead state. The first formula is for process 1 to 2, and here it is from a given state to dead state, and this is its formula for unit mass basis. And these are the simplifications that we have done here. B is known as Keenan function, which its value is h minus T0s. And then availability in a non-flow process. So here the availability is given by this formula, and phi is the new function which is defined, that is availability function for a closed system given by u plus P0V minus T0s. Then the next topic was availability in chemical reactions. So first we are considering a system in which is in temperature equilibrium with the surrounding before and after the process. So Wmax is given by this formula. And here we have defined Helmholtz function f, which is u minus Ts. Then in second case we are considering that the system is in both pressure and temperature equilibrium with the surroundings before and after the process. So these are this is the availability function, and we have defined Gibbs function as h minus Ts. Then the next topic was irreversibility and Gauss-Todola's theorem. Here irreversibility is given by the maximum ideal work minus actual work, and this is also known as degradation or dissipation. And here irreversibility is greater than or equal to 0. So the Gauss-Stodler theorem states that the rate of loss of available energy or exergy in a process is proportional to the rate of entropy generation. And then we studied few applications of Gauss-Stodler's equation. First was heat transfer through a finite temperature difference. Second was flow with a friction, and we applied first and second law of thermodynamics, and we obtained that the decrease in availability or lost work is proportional to the pressure drop and mass flow rate. The next was mixing of two fluids. Here two streams, that is M1 dot and M2 dot, are mixed together, and collectively they are M3 dot in a single stream. And in our previous lecture we have done up to this. So as this was done slightly quickly, so we are going to revise this again. So we will quickly revise this all steps one by one. So here, as we have seen that there are two streams getting mixed, so we can write down this formula, that is M1 dot plus M2 dot is equal to M3 dot, and we have written the common as M dot, and this is the formula that we have, this is the fraction that we have defined, that is fraction of M1 mass so here X is equal to M1 dot divided by M1 dot plus M2 dot. So if we take 1 minus x of this, let us say, which is equal to 1 minus M1 dot divided by M1 dot plus M2 dot, which is equal to M1 dot plus M2 dot minus M1 dot divided by M1 dot plus M2 dot. So here this will get cancelled out, so now we are left with M2 dot divided by M1 dot plus m2 dot. So this is nothing but 1 minus x. And this is the same which was written directly in our previous lecture. Now as per the first law, if you see this this formula, that m1 into h1 plus m2 into h2 is equal to m3 into h3. So here instead of m1 we have written x into this. So let me explain this here, that this is also equal to m1 dot divided by m3, implies that m1 dot is equal to x into m3 dot. So that's why if you see here, instead of m1 we have put x into m3. Similarly here also what we have to do is, this is m2 dot divided by m1 dot m3 sorry. So here what we are getting is m2 dot is equal to 1 minus x into m3 dot, and the same is utilized here. So finally we are getting this, and as h is function of temperature only, that's why we have replaced h with T everywhere. So here it is now T3 by T1 is equal to x plus 1 minus x T2 by T1. So what we have done is T3 by T1 is x plus 1 minus x into tau, where tau is the temperature ratio T2 by T1. Now the second law, that is S generation dot, is given by M3S3, that is the entropy which is associated with final stream minus the entropy associated with two different streams that were entering. So the same thing is done here. Instead of m1 we have put x into m3 dot, and instead of m2 dot we have put 1 minus x into m3 dot. So finally S generation upon M3 is given by S3 minus x S1 minus 1 minus x S2, and upon simplification, so let me simplify over here, that this is S3 minus x S1 minus S2 plus x S2. So further simplification will give us S3 minus S2 plus x into S2 minus S1. So here instead of S3 minus S2 they have written Cp ln T3 by T1, that is our standard formula, T3 by T2 plus x Cp ln T2 by T1. So this is the formula, and we have taken Cp on the left hand side and we are left with this. And if you see, if we focus on these two formulas, then here on the first formula we are having T3 by T2 into T2 by T1 into X. So now we have written this formula instead of that, so let's write down this over here, that is T3 by T1 into T1 by T2 into 1 minus X. So if you simplify this, that is T3 by T1 into T1 by T2 into T2 by T1 into X. So we can eliminate this and we will get T3 by T2 into T2 by T1 into X. So this is the same thing that we have obtained. So that's why it was written directly over here, and finally we are getting this as the formula So what we can do now is we can write down that formula again over here, that Ns is equal to ln T3 by T1 divided by T2 by T1 into 1 minus X. So here instead of T3 by T1, if you see, we can write down this, that is X plus 1 minus X into tau. So here we can write down this as ln, here in the numerator, X plus 1 minus X into tau, and instead of T3 by T2 we can simply put, instead of T2 by T1 we can simply put tau. This is X. So tau raised to 1 minus X. So this is the formula that we have obtained for the entropy generation number. Okay, so this is known as entropy generation number. And now this was our last topic in our previous lecture, and we will now discuss about new topic, that is availability or Exergy balance. So availability or exergy is the maximum useful work obtainable from a system as it reaches to a dead state, that is pressure and temperature P0, T0. Conversely, availability or exergy can be regarded as minimum work required to bring the closed system from dead state to given state. So these two statements are exactly opposite to each other as well as equivalent thermodynamically. So now the value of exergy cannot be negative if a closed system were at any state other than the dead state, the system would be able to change its state spontaneously towards the dead state. That is the natural thing that can happen. Let us say that the environmental or surrounding temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, and if we are having a cup of tea at, let us say, 50 or 55 degrees Celsius, then automatically, spontaneously it will cool down. This tendency would stop. When the dead state is reached, and no work is done to effect such spontaneous change. It is happening automatically by its nature. Since any change in the state of closed system to a dead state can be accomplished with a zero work, the maximum work cannot be negative. Now, as per the first law of thermodynamics, energy is always conserved. Exergy is not generally conserved, but it is destroyed by the irreversibilities. When a closed system is allowed to go spontaneous change from a given state to dead state, its exergy is completely destroyed without producing any useful work. So whenever any form of spontaneous process is happening, there will be a destruction of exergy without producing any form of useful work. So spontaneous processes are destruction of exergy. The potential to develop work that exists originally at the given state is thus completely wasted in such spontaneous process. Therefore, at the steady state, energy in minus energy out is equal to 0 as per the first law of thermodynamics, and exergy in minus exergy out is equal to exergy destroyed. Now our next theory is exergy balance for a closed system. So let's begin. First is exergy of a closed system. For a closed system, availability or exergy transfer occurs through heat and work interactions. So we need to focus on this figure here. This is the closed system, and this system is going from state 1 to state 2, in which at this boundary, where the temperature of this boundary is T sigma, the heat is entering through this boundary, that is Q, and we are getting work output W1 to 2. So this is our first law of thermodynamics, that is E2 minus E1 is equal to integration 1 to 2 d cut Q minus W1 to 2. And if you recall, we had that standard formula of first law of thermodynamics, where Q is equal to delta E plus W. So that's why we are getting, this is the another form of the same law. The second law of thermodynamics is this, that is, this is first is entropy change during a process, this is the entropy transfer with heat, and here this is the entropy generation. We have already studied this formula in entropy generation, or we can write down this, that is what we have done here is we have simply multiplied T0 with entire equation, and then what we have done is, let us say that this is our equation 1 and this is our equation 2. So we have subtracted 2 from 1, so we have, what we have done is equation 1 minus equation 2. So that's why E2 minus E1 minus this portion, and okay, let me write down this somewhere so that you will better understand. So here we will write down the left hand side of this first equation, that is E2 minus E1 minus, we can write down this, that is T0 S2 minus S1 plus T0 integration 1 to 2 into d cut q upon T is equal to integration 1 to 2 d cut q minus w1 to 2 minus T0 S generation. So we have kept these two terms as it is, and we have taken third term over here in negative sign, that is this, the rest of the things are same. So once you take this term on the right hand side, we will be getting this, and the remaining things are as it is. So here we have combined two terms. First is this term, and second is this term. So when you combine these two, we will be getting this. And finally what we are getting is, if you recall, this was our previous equation of availability, that is E2 minus A1 is given by E2 minus E1 plus P0 V2 minus V1 minus T0 S2 minus S1. So that's why what we have done here is instead of this E2 minus E1 combinedly with this minus T0 S2 minus S1, we have put this. Okay, that is already available over here. So we are discussing about this formula. We have utilized this instead of E2 minus E1 minus T0 S2 minus S1. That is, you can see over here this. Okay, so this is all about the exergy balance for a closed system. Now our next topic. Okay, we are still continuing on this. So we have combined this two, that is the work formulas we have combined together, and in a rate form we can write down the same equation in this way. So you can easily go through this. It is quite straightforward in rate form. For isolated system, the exergy balance can be written as this. That is, for isolated system, this Qj will not be there, W will not be there, and this dV upon d tau will not be there. So delta I is equal to minus I. So I is always greater than 0. So the only processes that are allowed by second law are those for which exergy of isolated system decreases. That is, you can see over here. In other words, the exergy of an isolated system can never increase. On counterpart, if you recall our entropy principle, which states that the entropy of isolated system can never decrease. Now our next theory is exergy balance for a steady flow system, and we will do this theory on our virtual board. So here we will write down first the first law of thermodynamics, that is H1 plus m V1 square by 2 plus m G Z1 plus Q122 equal to H2 plus m V2 square by 2 plus m G Z2 plus W122. And if you recall our second law of thermodynamics, that was already written in our previous theory, that T0 S2 minus S1 minus T0 integration 1 to 2 d cut Q divided by T at sigma, which is equal to T0 S generation, which is also known as I. So these are our two equations, and first we will modify this, that is H2 minus H1 plus M V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus M G Z2 minus Z1 is equal to Q122 minus W122. So this will be our first equation, that is of first law of thermodynamics. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to subtract this equation from the last equation, that is we have written. So H2 minus H1 plus M V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus Mg Z2 minus Z1 minus T0 S2 minus S1 is equal to Q122 minus W122 minus T0 integration 1 to 2 d cut q upon T into sigma minus I. So I have written this step slightly directly, this step, so you can try and you will obtain this on the right hand side of the equation. So here, further writing down H2 minus H1 minus T0 S2 minus S1 plus M V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus M G Z2 minus Z1, which is equal to, here it will be like integration 1 to 2 1 minus T0 upon T sigma into d cut q minus W122 minus I. So here, this is the left hand side formula, is the formula for availability, that is A2 minus A1, which is equal to integration 1 to 2 into 1 minus T0 upon T sigma into d cut q minus W122 minus I. That is the formula for availability. And here we can further simplify this. Integration 1 to 2 1 minus T0 upon T sigma into D cut Q minus W122 minus I plus A1 minus A2 equals to 0. You can write down this in another form also, that is sigma j into 1 minus T0 upon T sigma D cut Q minus WCV plus mass flow rate of AF1 minus AF2 minus I is equal to 0. Here the value of AF1 minus AF2, AF1 minus AF2 is equal to given by H1 minus H2 minus T0 S1 minus S2 plus V1 square minus V2 square by 2 plus G into Z1 Z2. And here this value, that is 1 minus T0 upon T sigma Qj is equal to time rate of exergy transfer along with heat. Qj occurring at the location on boundary with temperature Tj. So this is the end of this theory. So now our next theory is second law efficiency. The second law efficiency of a process is defined as the ratio of minimum energy which must be consumed to do a task divided by actual amount of exergy consumed in performing the task. So it is the ratio of this. Here on numerator we are having minimum exergy intake to perform a given task divided by the actual exergy intake to perform the same task. So here second law efficiency is given by A minimum upon A, where A is availability or exergy. Now let us take this that an example of power plant where it converts a fraction of available energy A or W max. So this is the available energy into useful work W. So for a desired work output W, it should be A minimum. So minimum exergy should be used to perform a task. That's why W is A minimum, and the available energy is the maximum useful work that can be done, so it is W max. So we can write down the irreversibility is given by W max minus W, and second law efficiency is W upon W max. And if you recall, the first law efficiency is given by work output divided by heat input. So what we have done, that we have multiplied and divided this formula with W max. So here this portion is the second law efficiency, and this is our Carnot efficiency. If you recall, eta Carnot is given by W max upon Q1. That's why we are getting this kind of formula where second law efficiency is ratio of first law efficiency to Carnot cycle, Carnot efficiency. Since W max is also given by this formula, that is Q1 into 1 minus T0 upon T, we can write down this second law efficiency in this way, that W divided by Q1 into 1 minus T0 upon T, which is equal to first law efficiency divided by Carnot efficiency. If work is involved, A minimum is equal to W, which is our desired one. Then if the heat is involved, then A minimum should be this. So these are the two cases that we need to consider. Now let us take another example. Now let us take example of solar energy QR that is available at reservoir storage TR, and if quantity of heat QA is transferred by solar collector at TA. So this is the transferred quantity and this is at temperature TA. So we can write down first law efficiency as QA, which is being transferred, divided by QR, that was available. Second law efficiency is given by exergy output divided by exergy input. So we can write down in this way. And if you see, this bracket is first law efficiency and this is the things. Now there is another case, that is heat pump. The task is to add heat QA at the reservoir to be maintained at TA, and heat and input shaft work is WI. So COP is given by QA upon WI. In case of heat pump and refrigerators, we don't directly write down efficiency, we first define the COP. That is, QA is the desired effect, that is to add heat, divided by the work input WI. Let us say this to be as the first law efficiency. And COP maximum is given by TA divided by TA minus T0, which is equal to QA upon WI, that is QA upon A minimum. So minimum exergy should be used, that is the minimum work input. So A minimum can be written in this way. So if you see here, sorry. So this is taken from here. So the same thing is obtained over here, and then eta second law, that is given by A minimum upon A. So we are getting this formula, and again this term, that is QA upon WI, which was over here, is first law efficiency. That's why we are getting that answer. That is this is the final relation for second law efficiency of heat pump. There are further illustrations of second law efficiency. Let us say first as turbine. So in this case, we are having one entry and exit. Here at this surface where temperature is T sigma, heat is entering and we are getting work output W. So for steady state exergy balance, we can write down this, that is with heat, this is the quantity which is entering of exergy through this boundary here, plus AF1, that is the exergy which is entering, is equal to the exergy which is leaving, that is W upon M, plus AF2 plus the destruction of exergy given by irreversibility. So this is nothing but exergy in the quantities of exergy which are entering is equal to quantities of exergy which are leaving plus destruction in form of irreversibilities. So if there is no heat loss, that is if adiabatic process is happening, then we can write down AF1 minus AF2 is equal to W by M plus I by M in flow rate terms. So the second law efficiency is given by, so this is actually what we are getting, and this is what is being lost. So W upon M is the numerator divided by the total exergy difference, that is AF1 minus AF2. And similarly we can write down for compressor or pump, that is the same equation is written, with only difference is this is the work which is entering, this is the exergy difference that we are getting, plus the destruction of exergy in form of irreversibility. So second law efficiency is written in similar way, but with the difference that on numerator we are having this exergy difference or exergy change divided by the negative work, because it is input work. Now the third is heat exchanger. Here if you focus on this figure, here the hot fluid is entering at section 1 and it is leaving at section 2. Here cold fluid is entering at section 3 and leaving at section 4. So here, writing the exergy balance for heat exchanger, we can write down this formula, that is the exergy which is associated with this heat, exergy which is associated with work, plus exergy which is entering, that is mH into AF1, that is this, and exergy which is entering, here it should be AF3, minus the exergy which is leaving as hot fluid, mH into AF2 plus MC AF4, minus the destruction is equal to 0. In case of no work or heat transfer, we can say this formula, that is these two terms are now removed. So now second law is given by this formula, that this is the exergy at exit divided by the exergy at inlet. Now mixing of two fluids, we have already seen this, but now it is in form of second law. So exergy balance for mixture is given by this formula. As you can see, the associated exergy with heat plus exergy which is entering plus exergy which is entering, that is there are two entries, is equal to the work output, that is the exergy which is leaving, plus exergy associated with this mass M3 plus exergy destruction, that is ICV in form of irreversibility. Since let us assume it to be adiabatic and work output is 0, as well as this formula that we have seen at the beginning of this lecture, we are getting this, and finally we can obtain this formula. You can do this by yourself, as we have seen this in our first theory. It is very similar to that, and finally we will be getting the second law efficiency. And this is one example that we were planning to do, but now you can do this by yourself, as we have no time left. This will be part of your self study, and if you have any standard reference book, you will be able to obtain the solution for this theory, or this is actually a numerical, but it is somewhat similar to our derivation. So this is the end of this lecture, as well as end of this chapter. In our next lecture, we will begin with vapor power cycles, which is another long chapter. Thank you for watching this video.